Hey Clarity crew. So Yasser Qadhi just tried to take down the Holes video again. I submitted a counterclaim, and in the meantime, I decided to reenact the video because since Yasser Qadhi seems to consistently try to take it down, let's just make a new version that we can all enjoy. So here we go. Every single student of knowledge knows who studies Ulama Quran that the most difficult topics are Ahruf and Qiraat, and the concept of Ahruf, and the reality of Ahruf, and the relationship of the Uthmanic Musaf and the Ahruf, and the preservation of the Ahruf. Is it what 3? Is it 7? And the relationship of the Qiraat to the Ahruf. This is a topic that when you're at the very beginning student of knowledge, you're like, what is all of this going on here? And when you go a little bit more, you learn to simply memorize what your teachers say and regurgitate it out, and you don't fully comprehend. But when you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. And this isn't new. Many people who have listened to my lectures that I've mentioned, the crises that happened to me at Yale, this was the issue, that the issue of the Ahruf and the preservation and the Qiraat and the relationships between them. These are very, very difficult issues. And the most advanced of our scholars, they are not quite fully certain how to solve all of the unanswered questions in there. Here's the point. These issues should not be discussed amongst people who do not know what they are, Muhammad Hijab. What you're saying is the crisis that you had was in relationship to this question of the relationship between the Ahruf and the Qiraat, basically? No. The crisis I had wasn't a crisis. What generated the crisis was very simple. Traditional understandings of the Ahruf and Qiraat cannot answer some of these pressing questions that are now being poked by the people outside of our academics, not by the academics from our faith tradition. You see, in the Muslim environment, there's always some respect that we hold that we should in a Muslim environment. We'll press a little bit and then we'll say, okay, khalas. And then that's great. Alhamdulillah. But when you go to academia, they don't have that red line. And they're just, the famous story of the emperor with no clothes. They're just going to point out, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not true, and this and that. And they'll bring issues, which I'm not going to be explicit here, that you know are true because they're in your own books. They're not inventing anything new. And they'll bring you riwayat, and they'll bring you asab, and they'll add to that on top of that very well-known issues of, I don't even want to be explicit. And then you bring on top of that makdutat, and then. And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say. The standard narrative does not answer some very pressing questions. These are now well known within the Western Academy, that they're bringing forth these issues. Their level of knowledge now is leaps and bounds above what it used to be. 100 years ago, what is happening in the last few years is not me anymore. It's the Western academics. And these problems are now becoming mainstream. And by and large, our own ulama in the Eastern world are not aware, by and large, of what's going on in the Western side of things. And they're not answering these questions in a manner that needs to be answered. Yasser Qadhi, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for trying to take it down all over the internet. I think that really speaks to the how much clarity it brings all of us. Thank you so much for your work to bring Islamic clarity. You've really opened up so many doors for us, and I just can't say thank you enough. Thank you, Yasser Qadhi, and I'll talk to you guys later.